The SEC revolving door continues as the director of enforcement, who is stepping down, is going to work in the crypto industry. You can't make this stuff up. And the UAE is eliminating taxes on crypto transactions. This is huge. And the crypto companies in the industry have raised over $800 million in September. I'll give you the details. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin because it's on the move right now. It's at $63,941. Looks like it's going to crack $64,000 tonight. So is this the move that is finally taking us out of this accumulation boring zone? It's possible, but as I've been saying for weeks, we have to be cautiously optimistic because we don't know if the bottom is in. This thing could easily correct and go lower. And as I've been sharing with you guys, the DXY has been finding a ton of strength, which we anticipated. So of course, risk assets are going to pull back because there's an inverse correlation. But the DXY on the daily seems like it's maybe topping out. But once again, I don't have a crystal ball, but we're seeing some signs and some breadcrumbs here. So we have to let it play out. But my hope, right, is that this is the move to break us out so Bitcoin can blast through 70K, blast through 73K, go to 80K, right? But we all have to be patient. It's not our feelings, it's not our emotions. But don't call home about this because we need confirmation first, folks. Let's move ahead. We got the UAE eliminating taxes on all crypto transactions. What a move. And this worries me living here in the United States because if the United States does not catch up with crypto legislation and doing things like this, a lot of jobs, a lot of companies are going to go to jurisdictions like the UAE to set up shop. We've seen that happen already. They've been going to Singapore, Dubai, and so forth. But let me give the details as to what the UAE is doing here. So the UAE just made crypto transfers and conversions exempt from VAT. VAT means value added tax. This will be starting on November 15th, 2024. Exporters can now deal with fewer paperwork hassles to qualify for zero VAT on goods and services, but some services will still be taxed depending on where they happen. If your business deals with crypto, you need to check how this VAT exemption affects your taxes and whether you need to fix any past filings. Folks, very bullish with crypto. And remember, we are in a global arms race, if you want to call it that, a global competition here, because this technology is the future. It's going to be a big part of how GDP is grown and how your economy is grown and so forth, because a lot of the traditional assets will be tokenized on the blockchains. So many of these countries are in a race now to grab as much market share as possible, get the companies to come to their country and to grow their local economy and so forth. So this is why the United States needs to move and get crypto legislation through. The EU has already passed crypto regulations. The UK, there's clarity in Singapore. There's clarity, obviously, in the UAE. So this is really bullish for crypto, but it makes me as an American worry about, the future of crypto here. Although I think ultimately the United States will adopt it. We've seen a lot of progress so far. We got presidential candidates endorsing crypto and much more. But these other countries are moving fast and game theory is going to play out here. Other competing countries are going to look to adopt something similar or even better than what the UAE is offering here. All right, moving ahead, we got news that Grewal, who is, of course, the director of enforcement at the SEC, who worked with scumbag regulator Gary Gensler to issue a ton of enforcement actions against the crypto industry. We know some of these enforcement actions have been unlawful. There's been a lot of hypocrisy and lying on the SEC's part. I mean, we've talked about countless examples, right? Well, look at this, folks. The revolving door continues. Eleanor Terra of Fox Business says, new reporting from Bloomberg Business suggests Grewal will be heading to Milk Bank Law later this month. Former SEC co-director of enforcement George Canellos, who currently represents Binance, also works there. Grewal brought the SEC's lawsuit against Binance last year. You can't make this stuff up, folks. This is the nonsense that's been going on. These people spend years attacking and blocking the industry, many times in an unlawful way, lying and doing all kinds of shady business. And then they run out the door and they go work for the crypto industry. It's pathetic. We saw this with Jay Clayton, right? He filed a lawsuit against Ripple, out the door, went straight to One River and a whole bunch of other companies that support crypto and have a big investment in crypto. So it's crazy. And remember, Gary Gensler, he was promoting crypto over the years. He was teaching crypto at MIT. He said in public speeches that you can put Uber on Algorand. He tried to go work for Binance, if you guys recall that article. So it's really crazy, and we need to revamp this. I know this is a symptom of a bigger problem, which is big government and these agencies going rogue. But we know specifically with the SEC, Gensler has been weaponized, right? Elizabeth Warren and an anti-crypto army. The calls were made from the incumbents, destroy these crypto startups so we can come in and take over. And we're seeing a lot of that happening, right? BlackRock's not getting Wells notices. Fidelity is not getting Wells notices. Why? Why can they tokenize? Why can they issue ETFs and do all these things and custody funds for crypto companies? Yet the exchanges and the projects themselves are getting lawsuits and much more. They're under attack, right? How can these two things be happening in parallel? And JP Morgan can launch its own blockchain and JPM coin and much more because Wall Street wants to take it over. Gensler is a Goldman guy. He's going to do their bidding. Elizabeth Warren, despite the facade that she puts up, she works with a lot of these big banks. You saw the relationship with her and Jamie Dimon earlier this year at a hearing where they both joined together with their narratives to bash crypto. Now, Caitlin Long weighed in on this news. She says, so will the former enforcement director of the SEC be doing crypto defense work against the SEC now that he's in the private sector? Hashtag revolving door. It's crazy. Now, the same firm, just so you guys know, they are pro crypto. In October 2019, Milbank partner Douglas Landy co-authored Distributed Ledger Technology as a tool for streamlining transactions, chapter in blockchain and cryptocurrency regulation. So they obviously have clients like Binance and so forth, and they believe in the crypto technology. So you see what's happening here. Now, on the topic of the SEC, Paul Grewal, Chief Legal Officer at Coinbase, answered a question about the SEC and crypto. Someone asked, Paul, the SEC regularly points towards Congress for needing to make a law for crypto. Couldn't they draft an interpretive memo for crypto similar to how they drafted this one? And he referenced a memo here from the 1950s. So the SEC was more open and understanding then. He says here, it seems like they were fighting this battle when a better SEC administration already clarified it back in 1958. Stamps, tokens, and tickets are not securities unless redeemable in securities. Now, Paul answered this and said the following: they could, they should, they won't. And that tells you all you need to know about their commitment to protecting investors while promoting innovation. But like I said, guys, this is not about protecting investors. This is about protecting the incumbents, the people who are getting disrupted. They could care less if you lose money and get scammed. At the end of the day, we've seen the actions. I used to give the SEC the benefit of the doubt. When I first learned about what's happening, I'm like, wait, they can't be acting that way. This is a government agency. They are supposed to abide by the law, uphold the law. And maybe they just made some mistakes. And then as time progressed, I saw the bad faith actions. I saw the testimony of people who said they tried to go work with the SEC and they got stabbed in the back. And in the hypocrisy of Gensler and all the cover-ups and all these things. So it's pathetic. But look, the courts are the ultimate balance of power and the separation of powers and checks and balances. And the SEC is taking major hits in the courts. Now, guys, final news item here, which is really big. Funding roundup. Crypto companies raise $823 million in September. Guys, that's a whole lot of money. And this is why Jamie Dimon, Goldman Sachs, and all these guys are upset. All this money is going to crypto companies. Hedge funds and investment firms are bypassing Goldman's investment funds and JP Morgan's investment funds and so forth. They're mad as hell, as you can imagine, right? The capital is going into these crypto companies, both in the companies building the infrastructure as well as the tokens themselves. And they don't like that you, the average Joe, can go buy some of these tokens, right? How dare you bypass them? How dare you, as a non-accredited investor, go buy tokens and invest directly, right? They want to control it. They want to gatekeep it and collect their fees all day. But disruption is here. So $823 million, that's the amount raised by crypto companies in September alone. The sum is broken up across 200 different companies that raised last month, with Celestia's ecosystem fundraise of $100 million topping that list. Infinex was a second close, raising $65 million through public token sales. Strategic funding like Celestia topped the amount of funding done last month, in part helped by Ton Foundation's raises for its ecosystem funds. But seed rounds are topping the charts per TIE data. 41 companies raised seed rounds last month. And also, DeFi companies raked in the funding money with 33 companies announcing raises. Folks, these are signs of a bull market. These are signs of a maturing, growing asset class. And you're seeing the capital flowing in, once again, both into the companies building the infrastructure like exchanges, wallet services, and so forth, and the token project. So, very healthy sign. And we're going to continue to see this grow as the bull market continues. So very bullish signal here. Once again, we can look at charts, but we have to look at the fundamentals. We got to look at the macro. We got to look at where the money's going, who's raising capital, and so forth. And I've often stated that watch what the VCs and investment firms are doing. Where are they putting liquidity into? Because that could be an indication. It's not guaranteed, but it could be an indication. It could be one factor as to how a token may perform. So we've seen this time and time again. We know VCs influence the market a bit, not entirely, right? I want to make sure that's clear. They're not the only mover and shaker here, but there's multiple factors, but it is a big one. So guys, let me know what you think about this. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, VeChain, which is one of the top layer one enterprise blockchains out there, working with many big brands and companies around the world. The VeChain blockchain is highly scalable, it's sustainable, it's fast, affordable, and secure. VeChain works with Givenchy, Boston Consulting Group, PwC, Walmart China, BMW, and many more. I'm a VET token holder. I have been for years. I believe in this project. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, go to vechain.org. Don't forget to sign up for my free email newsletter. It's in the description, guys. It's 100% free. And grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto, on Amazon in paperback and digital. It outlines crypto's past, present, and future. And if you bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review on Amazon. It will really help me out. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.